Anybody knows what's the reason behind this? Okay, so let's find out.
What do you see at Christmas?
Christmas trees!
Do you know why? Let me tell you the story of the three trees. A long time ago, high up on the mountain, there were three little trees. They dreamed of what they want to become when they grew up. The first little tree looked up the sky. It was a sky filled with stars, shining like diamonds.
I want to hold treasure. I want to hold treasure. I want to be filled with gold and precious stones. I want to become the most beautiful treasure chest in the world.
The second little tree looked at the river flowing into the sea.
I want to travel across the mighty waters. I want to carry the most mightiest king. I want to be the strongest ship in the world.
The third little tree looked at all the people in town. They were working and were very busy. The third tree talked to himself.
I don't want to leave the mountain top at all. I want to grow so tall that when people raise their eyes to heaven, they will think of God. I want to be the tallest tree in the world.
Many years later, the little trees grew and became big trees. One day, a woodcutter climbed up the mountain and started looking for trees.
This tree is perfect. I'm going to cut it down. This tree is so strong. I'm going to cut it down. This tree is so tall. I'm going to cut it down. Phew, that was a hard day's work. I'm going to sell all these trees and make a lot of money.
The first tree was taken to a carpenter shop, but she did not become a treasure box. She became a feed box for hungry farm animals. The second tree was taken to a shipyard, but she did not become a great ship for kings, but he was made into a small fishing boat. The third tree was left forgotten. The three trees almost forgot their dreams. One night, a great light shone on the first tree. A young woman placed her newborn baby in the feed box. The first tree knew she was holding the greatest treasure in the whole wide world. Many years later, a man and his friends got onto a small fishing boat. Suddenly, there was a great storm. Everyone was afraid.
Jesus, wake up! There's a big storm! Jesus, wake up! We're all gonna die!
Immediately, the second tree knew that he was carrying the King of heaven and earth. A few years later, a group of soldiers nailed a man's hand on the third tree. They laughed and spat at him. They did not believe who he said he was. The man was raised up on the cross to die. When he took his last breath, the earth shook and the sky turned dark. And 3 days later, the man came back to life. The third tree knew that this man was God. The three trees did not become what they wanted to become, but God was in control. After all, He made him. He had better plans for them. God made the first tree to hold the greatest treasure chest we would ever hope for. God made the second tree to carry the King of heaven and earth, who can calm all our storms. God made the third tree to carry into a cross. Jesus died on the cross so that we may live. Jesus is how we know God loves us. The three trees are God's creation, just like you and me. Each of them met Jesus and became a part of God's plan to show how He loves us. Just like the trees, we can become close to God to know and trust Him. This Christmas, when you look at a Christmas tree, may you know that God loves you and that you can trust in Him.